there's a book out there right now, and it's even the name of this book makes me go, a little bit. I mentioned it earlier in the shows. We're getting ready to have Dan Geltrude on, who's known as America's Accountant. This book is called Positive Financial Karma. And I guess, boy, around our money, we'd always like, was it like the law of attraction? You think good thoughts, you have good karma, and it will attract more money into your money. Well, maybe it does work that way. But what does he mean by having positive financial karma? Well, let's get him on and find out. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What does that mean to you, positive financial karma? Just think good thoughts, or does it go a whole lot deeper than that? Because I can do that first part, at least for a little bit. But making it work long term, that may be another story. What does it mean to you?
Well, that's where it starts. So you're going to start with a thought which creates an intention, and that intention ultimately needs to move to an action. So let's just simplify it, because when I start the book to try to give people a feeling of where this is going, I talk about losing weight, because I think that's something that most people can identify with. Well, it's a very simple process. Works every time. Eat less, move more. Is there anything more to it? Now, if you put that thought in your mind and then you're going to take it to action, you are going to ultimately reach that positive goal. It's that simple. It's the same as spend less, save more. Do you have the discipline to follow that intention? So the book gives a lot of examples of things in life as to how you can approach these things and really execute quite simply if you have the discipline.
Do you think that people do tend to overcomplicate their finances as opposed to starting with some of the basic bricks and building blocks foundation and working from there, that they look at the whole picture, get scared, and, punt? You don't want people punting, correct?
I think that's part of it. I think more than overcomplicating, people get emotional about their finances. And once you start to have emotion leaking into making financial decisions, you generally are not going to get to the right conclusion. And I think that's more of the issue than making things more complicated than they need to be, although that is part of the issue as well.
Well, you've been doing this for a good long time now. This time of year, of course, everybody's talking about refund. We've discussed it here on the show, tax refunds. Tried to talk people off the ledge when they had a smaller refund. I said, well, remember, part of the tax break here was to give you more in your paycheck during the year, and you shouldn't be giving a free loan to the government, interest-free. But if that's your want and you get a big refund coming back, what do you do with it? So how do you advise people to spend that windfall that they get this time of year if indeed they are owed a refund?
Well, if you're going to have a refund at the end of the year, first of all, you didn't make the best decision. And that's where we start to talk about, what you just said, Dave, right? You want to give the government an interest-free loan for 12 months? That, to me, is not positive financial karma, right?
Right.
But if that's your plan and people really need to use that for their discipline in order to save, look, when you get that refund, to me, the number one thing that Americans need to do is take a look at where their debts are, specifically credit cards. That's the great sin, financial sin out there, and try to use that refund, at least in part, to take down high-interest debt. To me, that's where you need to focus in order to get yourself on some stable footing financially, and that's what I tell people.
What about a person who says, look, I got this refund coming in, I'm going to use it, we need another car, I'm going to put it down on a car, or I'm going to buy one with cash as opposed to, we're just going to take a trip and blow it, something that maybe would improve their economic outlook with better, more reliable transportation. Would you call that part of good karma if they did that?
Well, again, let's go back to what we were originally talking about as far as emotion goes. So you say you need a car. For many people, it's an absolute necessity.
Right.
You need a car. Do you need a new car? Do you need a red car? Do you need a sports car? Or do you need something with four wheels to get you from point A to point B? And that's the emotional issue. Make the right financial decision. and get the emotion out of those things. So car in general is a lousy investment, right, as I think people know. But if you're going to have to make that investment, make it in a car that's going to have the least amount of depreciation from when you buy it to when you start driving it.
Yeah,
Again,
makes sense.
Logical, simple.
All right, so audits, we hear about that on a regular basis. We high-profile people, let's just put it that way. But it can happen to anyone, although the IRS is kind of, they're hard-pressed these days in terms of numbers on their end. What do you do if you get audited? If you find out, if they say, look, we'd like to take a look at your taxes here, we need more than 1 year, what do you do? Do you hit the panic button? Do you call a lawyer? Do you get an accountant? All three? What do you do?
Well, the first thing is you don't panic. To begin with, the good news here is that as far as the audit lottery goes, it's less than 1% your chances of being selected for an audit. So right off the bat, the numbers are on your side to start with, so we do like that. However, if you are unlucky enough to win the audit lottery, the first thing you need to do is to contact your tax preparer. Whoever prepared that tax return is someone you need to get involved to make sure that you're properly represented by somebody who's familiar with your tax return and also familiar with dealing with the IRS. And if that person doesn't generally handle audits, you need to go out and get someone who does. Now, most people are not doing anything nefarious, and they could have a mistake on their tax return, and that's okay. But there's that fine line of when people are doing, I'm going to bring out this word again, intentionally doing something wrong on their tax return, bad financial karma, right? And they're going to get jammed up. And it's at that point, Dave.
What goes around comes around then, right? That's part of the karma. What goes around comes around.
It's a boomerang.
It's a boomerang effect. So you don't want to be that person. Your chances of audit are low. And people, and the IRS realizes that people make mistakes. But if they're egregious, if it's a part of a trend, and if it just doesn't look good, they might say, this is worth digging into a little more. You don't want to be in that position. The book is called Positive Financial Karma. Dan Geltrude, you see him on Fox News. He has written the book here. Dan, where do people get the book?
Amazon. Very easy. Go online, Positive Financial Karma. It's right there.
You do that, and you'll even get the United States Post Office delivering it to you on a Sunday. Wait and see. It's true. Dan, thanks for joining us today. Good luck with the book.
Thank you, Dave.
I think we all want more positive karma coming our way. I know. Nick, do you want positive karma?
I think I could. Yeah, I could use some. Why not?
Do you believe in that? I'm not saying getting into religion here, but do you believe in the thing that what goes around? Like if you do,
I do. I
good
know.
things for people,
I do believe in karma
in
in general, and not even from
Okay.
a religious aspect either. Just do good things and hope that good things happen back. Right?
That there's a power and there's an energy that if you're positive and you do good things, it comes back. If you do bad things, eventually bad things happen to you. Do you believe that?
I think I kind of do. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like when I'm doing good things in life, things seem to go good, and whenever I take a shortcut, it always bites me in one way or another.
Even if you take a shortcut, like you're going to drop somebody off. I know a shortcut, but there's a
literally.
pothole.
Yeah, that's
like
what I meant.
you shouldn't do that. I mean, I think
those shortcuts might be okay.
Those shortcuts might be okay. I take you too literally. All right, we're coming back here with more on the Morning Wake Up. Don't go away. Stick around on your Friday. This is 1320 WILS.